Hi Emily, this is Dr. Bose giving you some very quick video feedback on your first project for our course, the Annotated Bibliography. Good job following the structure that we talked about in class. There are several areas though that one need consistency and two require a little bit more attention to proofreading as well as to formats. We can just kind of briefly talk about those. I do want you to review APA format, then bearing that in mind. You do need, for example, a running head with a shortened version of the title over here. Okay. So in other words, then you don't necessarily need all this information for here. Okay. Your introduction and your conclusion are interesting. They're short and they're concise, but they also don't give a lot of information. They it does kind of reflect the bias of the paper, which you clearly support the legalization of marijuana in this paper, which is fine. But the thing is, there's just simply not enough. Your sources kind of need to explain all sides of the issue. Okay. Now the introduction does again need to have something to pull readers in. It also needs to describe the key claims that you found in the article in your articles, and then your conclusion needs to readdress your claim statement that you made in your introduction, as well as describe new direction for researchers. You started to do that in your paper, but again, it kind of needs some work. So some of the sources, some of the annotations you do go into detail over about. Like this one's a pretty good start. You address the purpose, you talk about kind of like the topic, you start to address the way that information was collected, but that would need to be in more detail, key findings. You also need to very explicitly address the importance of this topic to your paper. You start to do that here a little bit. Much of the earned money goes to the state and federal government, but beyond that, there needs to be a little bit more of that. Okay, so in other words, so what exactly? If you have heard that before in English 1 classes, why are you including this information? So what? Why is it important? A lot of the descriptions, a lot of your annotations are, very, very short, and they don't really reflect that you've done a close reading. Okay, and now this is feedback that I've continuously given you on previous assignments, so this is just kind of a repeat of that. Some of your APA formatting does need to be changed. Okay, so just to kind of give you an example of that, so we never write out the full name of the middle or first names of the authors. We write, last name, comma, B period. Okay, and this part looks like correct, 2012, January 4, but this also kind of tells me that it's a newspaper. Okay, so if that's a newspaper, then there's also pertinent information that is missing. Okay, so I've just kind of given you some brief overviews. Again, you need to include a lot more information. In terms of consistency, so some of your annotations are a little bit longer than others, and generally speaking, the long ones tend to be helpful. Okay, but again, we need to look for more. So what? Why does it matter? Okay, so that's all for now, Emily. I hope you can stop by my office hours. I know you've said you're going to do that, but you never did. So I hope you can stop by, or otherwise we can make an appointment. Thanks for listening.